This isn't just a breakdown of a criminal organization. We're going to treat this as a career path. This is the story of how you go from being just another kid on a street corner to one of the most wanted men on the entire planet, one step at a time. And believe it or not, it all kicks off with one pretty simple choice. And this is it. This is the moment it all starts. It's not some grand plan for an empire. Not yet, anyway. It's about something real, something you can hold. Maybe you couldn't help your little brother with his homework, but now he's got those new shoes he wanted so badly. And that's it, right? That's the justification, the little trade-off that opens up a very, very different door. So you take that first step. You're, 14 years old, and this is your first real job. Your official title? The Watcher. You're basically the eyes and ears for the whole operation. You are the first line of defense.
Now, 200 pesos a day, that might not sound like a lot, but it's all about perspective, isn't it? That's more than your old teachers were making in a whole week. For a 14-year-old kid who's already dropped out of school, this is real money. It feels like real power.
Your job seems simple, but man, the stakes could not be higher. For 12 straight hours, no breaks, you just watch. See that house a few doors down? That's where they process crystal meth. Your one and only job is to burn this checklist into your brain. One mistake, one missed car, and the entire thing could come crashing down. You do your job, you do it well, you don't ask a lot of questions. And guess what? People notice that. The next promotion, well, it comes with more trust, a lot more money, and, you guessed it, a whole lot more risk. You're not just watching the operation anymore, you're moving the product. By the time you're 17, this is just your routine. I mean, the first time you did this, you probably thought your heart was going to beat like out of your chest. Now, it's just another Tuesday. You learn the little tricks, right? Like how the military checkpoint only stops every fifth car, so you just learn how to count. What was once terrifying is now just part of the job.
On the drive back, you pass the prison. And your cousin, he's in there, doing 20 years for the exact same job you just did. You can still hear him telling you, stop while you can. But then you feel that envelope in your pocket. 30,000 pesos. You just keep on driving.
The next rung on the ladder is a big one. It's a dark one. They don't call you a sicario. Come on, that's stuff for the movies. No, your new title is enforcer, a problem solver. It's got this clean, almost corporate ring to it, for a job that is absolutely anything but. So now you're living two completely different lives. To the world, you're a legitimate businessman, an import-export guy. You moved your mother into a nice, safe, gated community. But in private, you get encrypted messages with a photo and a location, and your job is to assassinate a state prosecutor right outside his gym. You've proven you're loyal. You've proven you're good at what you do. So now, you're moving out of the field and into management. You're not just a piece in the system anymore. You are the system. You're the one controlling the territory, the people, and all that money. As a territory commander, your world just explodes in scope. You're in charge of a 23 square kilometer slice of the city. And everyone, I mean everyone, from that new 14-year-old kid watching the corner to the transporters to the enforcers, even the local police chief is on your payroll now. And you keep it all running with a very careful mix of money and fear. The next promotion takes you even further away from the street. So far, in fact, you don't even touch the meth anymore. The violence, the drugs. To you, it's all just data now. Your real product is clean money. And your tools? Shell companies and spreadsheets. So, when you get a call from a contact that the U.S. Treasury is sniffing around one of your companies, you don't panic, you just execute the plan. In less than 48 hours, millions of dollars just disappear. They're laundered through this maze of international transactions, and by the time investigators show up, all they find are empty offices. The trail is completely cold. But just managing a territory isn't enough to keep climbing. The next level, it requires you to expand it. You're not a manager anymore. You're a general, and your job is to wage war against the other cartels and, against the government itself. The scale of the problems you have to deal with now it's just immense. A shipment of 4 tons of meth goes missing. That is a $50 million problem, and you're given exactly 48 hours to solve it. Failure isn't getting fired. Failure is getting hung from an overpass as a message to everybody else. At this level, being anonymous is a luxury you just can't afford anymore. You're a strategic lieutenant. The DEA,
They know your name. They have a 300-page file all about you. There's a multi-million-dollar reward for your head. You haven't seen daylight without armed guards in 5 years. And now you're not just controlling territory, you're in the war room, planning strategy with the man at the very top.
And that's it. You've reached the end of the line. There's nowhere else to climb. You are Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes. You are El Mencho. And you built this entire empire from absolutely nothing. You know, people have all heard of El Chapo, but your empire, it's actually surpassed his. Your bounty is higher, your presence in the US is way more widespread, and your whole strategy is just different. You don't hide from the government, you fight it. You shoot down military helicopters, you use explosive drones. But to build all of this, you had to sacrifice everything. Your son, your brother, your son-in-law, they're all gone. Taken by the very system you spent your life fighting. The family that you supposedly did all this for has been dismantled, piece by piece, by your ambition. And so we arrive at the final scene. It's a specific date, you're in your compound. After all these years of being the ghost, the untouchable king, you hear the helicopters. They're finally here. For you, the walls are closing in. In these last few moments, you can't help but reflect. You remember being just a poor kid from Michoacan who wanted something more. You climbed all the way from nothing to become a man who made entire governments afraid of you. You got everything you ever wanted. Look at you now. So what's the legacy here? They'll sing ballads about you for generations. Some people will call you a monster, a criminal who drowned a nation in blood. But others might see a revolutionary, someone who fought back against a corrupt system. As the gunfire gets closer, the question just hangs there in the air. Criminal or revolutionary? Every empire ends.